If you are an agent, a manager, a casting director, talent roster, production house, or any other entity that works with voice talent, we want you to meet our guest on the Undisputed Talent to Watch podcast. Hi, I'm Crystal Lee, your host, model, actor, belly dancer, and military veteran. Go Air Force. And today I'd like to introduce my very, very special guest, Ed Moskowitz. Yes!
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. So please tell me, well, the floor is yours. Anything you want to talk about, you can talk about your VO journey. Tell me what projects you're on, like anything you want to talk about.
So I'll give you a little backstory here. So my VO journey started probably about 2016-ish, 2017. Mm-hmm. I spent decades on stage as a production sound mixer behind the console. Mm-hmm. Pretty A-list kind of shows. I did a lot of sitcoms, Golden Girls, Empty Nest, Larry Sanders. Then I did ER, parts of ER. I did parts of Lethal Weapon. Mm-hmm. A slew of things, all kinds of things. And then I am still a huge Angels fan, and I have Angels season tickets, which are in fourth row behind the plate. Mm-hmm. And we've been there for many, many years. They were my father's. The guy who sits next to me, who has the tickets next to me, is Scott Rummel, who's like one of the probably number 3 movie trailer promo voices in the world. Mm-hmm. And Scott and I would talk, and we get friendly, all of that stuff. And one night he said to me, because I was there after a particularly long 60-hour week, mm-hmm. and go away. I was there after a particularly long week, and he turned to me and goes, "So, Ed, what are you going to do when you're done schlepping equipment around and doing all of that?" I took a breath, and I counted to 3, and I said, "Scott, I'm going to do what you do." And that was his reaction. He went, "Oh, really?"
Okay.
I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do what you do." And he goes, we went on for a while, and then he said, "You're serious?" I said, "I'm deadly serious." Because in my job as a production sound mixer, if you've been on set, the mixer at the beginning of the day has to slate tapes, and ID the reels and I'll do all that. And I used to do them like a little radio show for the guys in the transfer room. Shows I'm dating myself. The guys in the transfer room, whether they listened to my little spiel or not, didn't matter to me. I still did it. It warmed me up, and that was the day. And so when Scott heard that, he goes, "Well, if you're serious, you're gonna go learn, and you're gonna go study from one of my original coaches." And and he sent me up to Burbank to Harvey Kalmanson, and that's where I started.
Wow.
And I became quite rapidly, I became a workshop junkie, and I started taking classes. I started taking class after class, not only from him, but from other places, because, we have plenty of places to go learn, study, and workshop. And that's how it started. And I realize now that that's almost 10 years ago. and I've been doing this all that time. I started slow. I'm in a fortunate position because of my age. I don't have to pay the rent by doing this, so I can play longer, I can play more, and I do, and so, but I'm enjoying it. I am having an absolute ball, and lately, I've been having a bunch of success. I have I guess it's now called a vertical series on YouTube called The Office Chimp, which is an animated, created by another voiceover artist who wanted to learn animation. So he figured out how to do this, and there's a bunch of other voice actors, and we all voice the show for him. We finished season 1, which was 9 episodes. Season 2 is in the word processor being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And I play this salesman who looks like a giraffe. It's a real kick, and it's been a lot of fun. And then, I've met all these kind of people, and I keep taking workshops, and then I'm now doing a lot of dubbing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is still voiceover work. It's still, but it's a little bit more acting now, because I was lucky enough to be cast as the king in an anime series called Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. And I play the king in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just been picked up for season 2. So we're hoping that the king is back in the series.
I hope so.
And that'll be great, And then I've gotten a couple of other, 4 other projects, 2 telenovelas, 3 telenovelas, so that's 5 projects, 3 telenovelas, a documentary from Netflix about the Brazilian soccer team, and another one that we finished this week for another streaming network that has 3 initials in it, which I'm under NDA at the moment, about a crime family. But we finished that one 2 days ago. And then I just found out yesterday, because yesterday I found out that the other telenovela, I was cast as one of the leads, where I play a serial killer who had been in jail and is now out. I'm at the top of the cast list.
That's incredible.
And it was released this week on Hulu and Disney Plus. The name of the show is Innate, Innate, and it's rather dark.
Hey, that's okay.
I got to go into a pretty dark space in those episodes, and I haven't had the guts to watch it yet. I've seen the end credits, so I've seen my name. I've congratulated the rest of the crew. I have to watch it now. We'll probably watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, those things I try to be very supportive, with other voiceover folks that that I'm friends with, and if they're in those very dark dramas or whatever, I'll kind of watch it on 3 times speed just to get the idea.
Yeah.
Because it makes your heart race and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So. I was the mixer for the end of season 1 and season 2 of Criminal Minds. And Criminal Minds went into some pretty dark places. And then I was just recording it. Now I'm actually acting this guy out. It's like, okay, that's fine.
It just shows your versatility. So
yeah,
this is a good segue. So speaking of versatility, Corey, please tell me how did you guys meet? How has he helped you on your VO journey? Because I want to talk about versatility in especially all of the socials. He is the most.
So I met Corey. I had heard his name. I'd seen some of his videos and that. And I was part of a workout group called the Voiceover Academy. And every month they would have a different mentor come in. And within those months, we also had guest speakers who would come in. So I met Corey through one of those sessions, when he came in as a guest mentor, and we had an open session. There must have been 10 or 12 of us in that. That was back in 2023. And after that session, I asked him a couple couple of specific questions about his reactions to me as we were talking in the class, and I asked him questions within that. And then I went ahead and called him, and we had our connection call. And we talked about where we could go, how we could help, how we shouldn't help, and all of that, all of Corey's initial reach in calls, right? And that's what we did. We did that. And then I started coaching with him. And here's an interesting sidelight. This documentary that I finished Tuesday. The casting director who put me in the show, I met on LinkedIn when I was working with Corey in 2023 pretty intensely. And, I never overly connected with her. We connected. We had a couple of light interactions, and then that was sort of it. It didn't bubble anymore or anything. And I'm probably the bad one that I didn't go back and follow up. But when I got this show, this documentary, which was from Turkish to English, I went in and I went to the director and I said, just out of curiosity, how did I get into this list? Because I've been trying to get into that streamer to get on their dubbing list for a while, and I haven't been able to crack that egg open. And he told me who the casting director was. And I went, I know that name. And then when I came back home after that session, I looked her up and I went, oh yeah. And then I sent her a follow-up email and a thank you email that we had just done this. And I have another session scheduled for another 2 weeks later. And so that was from 2023. And so I will tell you that Corey's training about that reach out on LinkedIn, when it doesn't always snap right away and you got to keep trying it. I now have a little note here on my wall on the side of the booth that has the 3 P's that I pay attention to. And one of them is perseverance, persistence, because you got to be persistent, and patience, because you can't be over anxious, you can't be desperate, because if you appear to be desperate, it's like sharks smelling blood in the water. It just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so those 3 P's now sit here on my little list right here next to me, staring me in the face, going persistence, perseverance, and patience,
Mm-hmm.
and I do the work, because here's how, like Corey is into his workouts. I work out every day also, not in the gym, and I'm not trying to get as extreme and jacked as he is. I'm just doing it for my own health. In our guest room, I have my elliptical trainer, and my wife has her treadmill, and we have the free weights, and every day that's where we start the day. And then I come in here and sit in the booth. Or not sit in the booth, I usually stand in the booth when I'm working. And it's every day. It's that constant practice. And now it's starting to pay off, and just before we started this call, I got a note from one of the producers that I've worked with before on those telenovelas that we're starting a new one starting next, what day did he give me? Next Wednesday.
That's incredible.
So I'm starting to get that, and now Corey's helping me with my website redesign,
Mm-hmm.
and we already did my logo redesign,
Mm-hmm.
so, As soon as I can punch those buttons, it'll come up on my website, and I have new headshots that you as an actress understand this.
Yes.
I have 137 headshots to go through.
Yes,
You know?
picking out the ones that, really kind of show off who you are.
Correct.
Yeah.
There are some that are really goofy that are, that I let off steam in the middle of them. But my headshot that I've used for years is a pretty formal headshot, and it's modeled after. Do you know who Don Pardo was? The announcer on Saturday Night Live in the beginning. So Don Pardo was an NBC radio talent, NBC radio announcer, and I have his headshot up on my wall as an inspiration, because he was a great guy. I worked on Saturday Night Live. I'm a season 3 survivor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was.
Wow.
I was the kid from California coming in as an audio consultant.
Oh.
To NBC. So anyway, I've redone those headshots, and that's where we are.
That's amazing. Wow, what a journey.
It's been a pretty amazing journey.
Well, now is the time in the episode for you, sir, to go on display. So, what do you have for us today?
So, I have a little something here, which casting directors lately, when I've talked to them, what they want, they don't want necessarily to hear demos. They just want to hear you talk. I have one casting director who is really good, and he said, pick up the newspaper and read 2 paragraphs out of one of the stories, out of a story. It doesn't have to be anything important. And in fact, 2 nights ago last Friday on a call a week ago, another casting director said, I'll be happy to listen to anybody's samples. Don't send me a demo. Just talk to me. Just, don't produce it. Don't perform it. Just do it. And so what I've been doing lately is just sending things that say, this is my voice. There's no music. There's no sound effects. Only the pure, clear sound recorded for your ears. I'm a voiceover artist, a voice actor, a voice talent, and I can convey my message in many ways, in many tones, and with many emotions. I can speak in a very light whisper or share an intimate message with you. Or my voice can boom deeply, demanding respect for those who are listening. My voice can express sympathy to someone who has just experienced a great loss. Or it can reflect the happiness one feels after having accomplished something great. I stand before this tube made of metals, plastics, and silicone, which listens patiently to me, as if it were alive. Like a mistress, hour after hour, day after day, and night after night. It never judges me. However, it is a reflection of me, one which is neither vengeful nor forgiving. Because I'm a voice actor, and this is my voice.
That was the best segue into your your segment that I have ever experienced. Thank you. And also thank you for for the information as far as, certain casting directors and, what they're kind of looking for nowadays. That's incredible. And I am just so grateful when guests share that kind of information, not just with me, but with our audience, because it's so helpful, especially, if you are kind of new to the voiceover industry and you're still kind of getting your feet wet. So thank you.
And we don't do this alone, as much as many people may think we do it alone, and as many hours as we stay within these padded walls alone, it's still a collaborative effort. And so you have to be that way. And because of my experiences, I'm very happy to play it forward and share it, because that's just good karma, you know? Keeping it to myself doesn't do any good. My hardest problem is self-promotion.
Not anymore. You got Corey for that. No, just kidding.
But I got Corey, and I can feel him on my backside with that strong emphasis.
Oh man. Well, this has been such a pleasure. So, could you please tell the audience how they can find you?
So finding me is really easy. My website is edmoskowitzvo.com. My Instagram is edmoskowitzvo. My LinkedIn has Ed Moskowitz VO on it, and there's also a previous one because of my previous world, which is Edward L. Moskowitz, CAS, because I was president of the Cinema Audio Society for 6 years, and I still serve on that board. And that has links, all of them have links to my IMDb, which my IMDb is now going to start populating my voiceover gigs, because now IMDb will accept those, you know. And but it has all my other experience, you know, and I can't discount that experience, because all of that is what molded me into here. Because I used to listen to actors 12 and a half, 16 hours a day, every day of the week, you know. And I always used to say to my crew, and I'd say to some of the actors, and some of them pretty A-list actors, that I had the most respect for what they did, and that I could never want to do particularly what they are doing. And now here I am, all these years later, in the booth on this side of the glass. So.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And before you leave, can I get a fist bump? Bah!
Boom.
Thank you. Well, Ed, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Undisputed Talent to Watch podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.